think it's, especially in South Africa, it's very topical. There's quite a few uncertainties, and I think hopefully coming December this year, that's from a political perspective, that we'll have some better indication of the direction of government, and so it could change dramatically, and hopefully for the better. But yeah, I mean the uncertainty with regards to the especially with regard to where, especially with farmers own more than one farm, there's a lot of pressure in terms of the security of tenure, and I think so the farmers are really positioning themselves for the worst, really, and I think the pressure has been mounting and probably will increase. So I think they need to position themselves for the worst case scenario. I think that's what we're seeing happening. I think partnerships between farmers and the empowerment partners. You'd see some food processing businesses selling off their business to black entrepreneurs and basically still remain operating them. And same with farming, where they will basically sell the farms to empowerment trust and continue to operate the farm, and in the process transfer skills. So it's really to prepare for when there's clarity. And even if it's not that dramatic as people might expect, there's no harm in taking some risk and some off the table, then cash off the table, transfer risk or transfer skills, and still being able to do what you love to do, and that is running a productive operation.
So the political uncertainty has fueled the transformational imperative, would you say?
It has, and you've seen in terms of public-private partnerships as well. There's been some development, but I think it's still got a long way to go. So it's definitely fueling that, but we not know where we need to be. And I think from a country perspective, if you look at the profile of the average farmer and food producer, it's still not representative of the demographics of this country. So I would expect that there will have to be further change.
These different types of innovation in how farms are run, including empowerment partners and the rest, have these experiments resulted in any good business practice being discovered?
I think it's probably a combination. I think quite often you see that there will be initial a drop in productivity. I think it's a gradual process as a transfer of skills occurs. So I think the trick is really to get it right, where the transfer of skills doesn't impact on the productivity. And I think that is the challenge, and also while still maintaining. So we don't want to create a situation where there's a threat to food security because of the political pressures. And I think there's an opportunity here. It's quite unique where you can accommodate both, and I think that's a challenge. And we've gone some way down that road, but I think there's a long way to go.
Okay. What would it look like if both of these aspects were actually fully accommodated? What would we be looking at then?
I think what's utopia? I think it's probably a scenario where you will have the land ownership structure transformed, where the owners of businesses and land is more representative. I think that it's run on an economic and on a commercial productive basis, and where the current owners and the people with the experience, they feel they still has a role to play, whether it's being in a partnership with the owners to manage operations. So I think there could be an outcome that could basically a win-win situation that addresses both sides of the equation.
Does Sasfin get involved in these restructurings?
To date, we haven't been that active in the sector. That's part of the reason why we're here. I think we identified the agri and food processing sector in Southern Africa as a space we would like to play. I think both from an advisory perspective and also from investment perspective, we've got some balance sheet that we could bring to the table. I think that makes us quite unique as an organization. So it's not just pure corporate finance advice, but we can also bring balance sheet to the table, whether it's whether it being debt or equity. So going forward, certainly would like to play. Generally, outside of the sector, we've been involved in many BE transactions. We structured transactions. That's been quite complicated. I think probably the most prominent is our own empowerment transaction, which we've just concluded with Whiphold earlier this year, and I think it's just been announced that it's gone unconditional in the last month, where Whiphold acquired a 26% interest in Sasfin. And Whiphold as an organisation has also been active in the agri space. So through them, I think there are more opportunities for us to get involved in the sector. And I think they also see their pursuance of further opportunities to a large extent to pursue that in partnership and through Sasfin, especially in the financial services sector.
Are you likely to also try and guide clients in terms of the type of production that they do, like for example the increased demand for healthy foodstuffs? Do you see the opportunity in that?
Yeah, I think the way the world's going, there's a lot of demand for healthy foodstuffs. I think it's been driven by the funders of the medical health system. If you look at the Discovery Health of this world, there are huge incentives for their members to live healthy, and they've got all these fancy tech to monitor that. There's incentives even to buy healthy foodstuffs at Pick n Pay, where you can get as a Discovery member a discount on certain foodstuffs. So I think it's not just from a production point of view. I think it's basically driven systematically by healthcare funders, and generally the demand to have a healthy lifestyle. So that will translate. I think the producers of foodstuffs, they can't ignore that, and quite often these products deserves or attracts a premium to other products. So I think it's one of those where it's a win-win situation, where the producers can cash in on the premium because of the increase in demand, and also in the process hopefully we'll have a healthier community.
Does the money cycle back at all? I mean, is there a kind of financial connection between healthcare providers and maybe big players in the agri sector?
Yeah, I think maybe not as much as the producers would like to see. I think there's probably middlemen that also get their slice of the action, and I think here we probably need to think of the distributors and the retailers that also thinking that this offers an opportunity to increase their margins. Unfortunately, it's always going to be the case, but my belief is that it will flow down to the producer eventually. Maybe not the full premium, but at least a portion of that. That should make it attractive to them. But one would hopefully see that will become more so going down the line.
And then finally, what are the implications of the trend towards more environmentally friendly agricultural production and green technology?
Yeah, as we know, we can't ignore global warming and all the pressure to sort of look after our environment. And I think agriculture is well placed to assist in that regard. And it's not just that the green tech, and we think like solar that drives irrigation systems and those type of things. It's not only that, but also it increases productivity. So I think there's an opportunity here to sort of jump forward in the sense that the sort of ordinary industrialization of agriculture that happened in other countries, we might frog leap that and go directly to environmental friendly or green tech, as you referred to it, and so that will increase productivity as a spin-off.
This is already happening in Zambia. smallholder farmers have found that by switching to conservation agriculture, not only do they use less water, but also their output increases, so they become more climate resilient and make more money. It seems quite obvious that people should switch.
And that's a logical thing to do, and as I said, it's not quite often that you get that it's a win-win situation whereby deploying green tech you also increase your productivity. Quite often there's some sacrifice to be made to protect the environment, but in that instance it's clearly a win-win situation.
Farming is usually a practical, common sense matter, and in this case as well. Thank you, Paul.